When you hear a name like Rocketbirds 2, you may think it's an Angry Birds clone, but it's actually an action shooter that is jam-packed with bullets and blood spilling all over the place in a world where anthropomorphic birds are at war with one another. But is this game the cock of the walk, or is it just a bunch of bird droppings? Rocketbirds 2 Evolution features two game modes. The first is the story mode, where you're taking control of Hard-Boiled Chicken, who's sent in to defeat the evil Putski, the leader of the Penguin Army. Along the way, though, as soon as the game begins, you start to find out there's actually more at hand, and not just you versus the Penguin Army anymore. The other mode is the rescue mode, where you and up to 3 others can join together offline or online in order to rescue various comrades, including also some of the main characters of the game. Both modes of the game feature similar locations and similar gameplay. The story mode goes over 6 chapters with all different locations for each of the levels, from a castle to a jungle ruins to outer space, and all of which you're going to be blasting your way from area to area, taking out all kinds of different bird enemies. The game uses a twin-stick shooter style of aim and firing, where you're going to be moving with the left joystick, aiming with the right joystick, and then firing with the R2 button. You can then jump with the L1 or the X button in order to do some acrobatics to either make it over pits or platforms, or of course to also just avoid enemy fire outright. In order to blast the evil bird menaces into smithereens, you have a pretty large arsenal at your hands. In the main story mode, you're going to be fighting various weapons from level to level, some in kind of off the beaten path locations, but usually are worth your time to go and find. You'll have the unlimited ammo boomstick as your main weapon at all times, but then you also have submachine guns, including dual wielding. You'll have AK-47s, you'll have laser guns that will either be straight up laser pistols or can fire out streams of electricity that can destroy enemies, as well as grenade launchers and flamethrowers. There's a lot here in order to blow up these birds. In the rescue mode, things are a little bit different. You're not just finding ammo and guns in the main levels. You can actually buy and purchase your items from the main hub before jumping into levels. You'll actually earn money in the rescue mode in order to purchase these weapons, where you don't get any kind of upgrades or money system during the main story mode. As far as the controls go, if you're a veteran of games like this, where you're moving with one control stick and aiming with the other, you'll fit right in and have no issues. But if you've ever had problems with those kind of games in the past, you're definitely going to have those same similar clunky issues. But for me, I was able to jump right into the game and start blasting away. The game's levels aren't just straight running through and blasting your way through hordes of enemies. Don't get me wrong, there is plenty of enemies to destroy, but a lot of times you're also going to have to do some light puzzle solving, trying to find key cards and then backtracking. It's kind of a little bit like a Metroidvania, just in a very smaller sense. While there is that light puzzle solving, it's not overly challenging. There was only one puzzle in particular late in the game that ended up slowing down my overall gameplay a bit as I was trying to figure out exactly what I was supposed to do. But that was only because it took me a few moments to realize what exactly I needed to do with the enemies in order to get the result I needed. One of the things that I really loved about the game was its soundtrack. The soundtrack is all music from New World Revolution, who did the soundtrack for the original Rocketbirds as well. They do a bunch of lyric-based songs that pop in at time to time that just seem to fit with the mood and atmosphere of the particular battle or area of a level that you're currently in. Though there were plenty of weird times in the game where there was just no music whatsoever. Those areas really kind of dragged a little bit, even with the action kind of going and blaring, with no music in the background to really keep you pumped up or keep you in the mood. It kind of was just okay. From a technical standpoint, the game ran fine. I wasn't running into slowdown or game crashing, but there was a few times with a particular item that you can use in the game in order to kind of mind control the enemies and actually control them in order to take out other enemies or solve puzzles. It broke on me a few times during that same puzzle I mentioned earlier where I was having problems. It kind of just locked and I wasn't able to continue on until I ended up restarting from the checkpoint, but that only ended up happening a couple of times during my gameplay. In order to blast my way through the game's main story, it took about 5 or so hours to get through the 6 chapters. Factoring in the rescue mode to add a few more hours, I can go through similar missions with friends online or offline, and a dojo where you and your friends can have a battle royale in order to blast each other apart. There's a good amount here. Overall though, I very much enjoyed my time with Rocketbirds 2 Evolution. It's bloody, and you can actually turn off the blood if you're a little bit sensitive to that. The voice acting, while not amazing, was actually fun, with very similar-esque characters and a few lines that actually made me laugh out loud. In the end though, I'm going to be giving Rocketbirds 2 Evolution a 7 out of 10. It's available for $14.99 on the PlayStation Network, and you get it as a cross-buy with the PS4 and the PlayStation Vita version. But anyway guys, that will wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.